Welcome.
Welcome.
Housewives of True Crime. Your lighting is so good today.
Is it?
It
I
is.
will
It
never,
is.
this light is kind of tricky, so I'll never remember how I did it. So just take it in.
Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Housewives of True Crime. If you don't know us yet, get to know us now. We're fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're so fun that I went to Vegas this last weekend. If you listened
Yeah.
last week.
How was Vegas?
It was super crowded, which made me a little
Ooh,
nervous or a lot of
right?
nervous. It was super hot
That
and
happens.
it was very expensive. Like,
Yikes.
yeah, I could not find a $25 table, which, by the way, that's usually my max. Like, $25 is after I win some, you know? But every table was a $50 minimum.
The f-
So it
I like the
was,
$5 tables.
you
That's what
cannot
I
find
like.
that to save your life anymore in Vegas. No way.
Damn.
So now I know how they're making their money back. That is how.
That's no
Up the limit.
fun.
I
I need to
know.
lose my budget over a slower amount of time.
So that's how I am also. So I had to leave. We stayed at the Cosmo. I had to leave the Cosmo to try to find something less. But it's really, I mean, you can't find it. It's expensive.
No, Tab texted me. You couldn't find any old school Wheel of Fortune slots.
Not even one.
Shoot.
Not
I told my
one.
husband. He was home with me, annoying me all weekend. Vegas is dead. Like, I don't even need to go back. I
Well,
played those digital Wheel of Fortunes in the airport.
yep.
It
It's
doesn't
not the
make my
same.
heart sing. It's
No,
not the
it's not
same.
the same at all. And it feels phony, right? It's like they could play you. It's like, oh, no.
I mean, they've always been playing us, but
Yeah,
yeah.
true. But the old Wheel of Fortune. So I found one, it was still digital, but it felt more like the old school ones, but
Hmm.
it's definitely not the same.
Not the
Oh,
same.
but
I'm
they
so
do have
sad.
25 cents still. But you have to play. By the way, you have to play the most to like win.
To get the spin, to get the opportunity to spin, you have to play the max bet.
Yes, and that's 10
I
quarters.
know. I know. I'm over it.
So,
Vegas your balls. Okay,
so
I have some other sad news.
what?
So this weekend I was home, no plans. We
Mm-hmm.
are going on vacation next week and we went to Knott's Berry Farm the weekend before. I want everyone to stay home and healthy.
Right.
I don't want to be a drag, but I feel like there's this COVID thing going around again,
Yeah.
even though, and the
Right.
funk. And I'm really looking forward to my next vacation. So I don't want anyone to get anything. And every place is so freaking crowded down here in Orange County. So we played in the neighborhood, bike rides, park, whatever. I rented my kids ET. I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, they're going to love this, right? They love that little mini Yoda guy, you know? I mean, I'm
Yes.
not even into
It's
Star
not the
Wars, but
same, but okay.
okay, but you know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
like a cute little alien, okay? That movie is terrible. I'm not sure I ever
Is it
really saw it. It's so bad.
scary?
It is the worst movie. It is terrible.
Is it scary
The
terrible?
effects, no,
No.
it's not scary terrible, but it is just bad. It's boring AF. The effects are so cheesy. My husband is like, it couldn't have been this. They must have digitally remastered it and screwed it up. It must have been better back in the day.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's really bad. It's really bad and really boring. Total snooze fest. If you want to torture your children, you want to punish them, make them watch ET.
I think the difference is it just things were more boring back then, right? It's
Oh
not
my
like
God, it's so bad.
now it's like flashy and everything has to be like super, super crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, no
I did
ET
get
for
to go
you.
to highlighted the weekend was I got to go to Costco by myself. Ditched the family for a little while, went to Costco. I picked up these fun freezy things.
Oh, I got those too.
I'm eating the watermelon hibiscus one.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
Not impressed. I didn't
Maybe the other flavors are gonna be better. Really
strawberry.
enjoyed the I really enjoyed the frozen Trulies.
Yeah, okay, so the frozen Trulies are better than the Costco ones for sure,
Mm,
but the Costco has the better price. What could you say?
tastes like
Anyways,
cough syrup. Okay.
oh, that's yuck. Let's get into our crime today, Gretch,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Oh,
Okay, guess where we're going back to?
tell me. Take me there.
Ventura.
Oh, shoot.
Like I'm
I know
taking you
that
back home.
place.
So I know you guys,
Ventura Highway.
okay, I know I just did a case from Ventura about Jake Bush, but this one I actually wanted to do when we first started our podcast, but kind of fell by the wayside. And in all honesty, I think this case may be the reason that I do what I do now. And I will explain that later. We should all know by now that Gretchen and I are from Ventura. If you don't know that, then you haven't
We are
listened to
from
us enough.
Ventura, also known as Bakersfield by the Sea, Kentucky. Cute
Kentucky.
little beach town. Yeah.
You know what how Dateline describes it?
How?
They describe it as a modest beachside town.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice, and I think it's accurate.
And pretty accurate,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would say so. So, many people actually never leave Ventura. They grow up there, they like the laid back lifestyle, get themselves a job, and live a happy little life. And that is not what you or I did, but we know a lot of people that still live there from our childhood. And Michael and Sherri Dally did the same thing. These two grew up in Ventura, even went to high school together back in the mid 70s at Ventura High School,
Oh, my alma mater.
your alma mater. Sherri was a cute blonde, and Mike, the more exotic type. Mike was half Japanese, tall, and good looking, or at least Sherri thought so. But more than his good looks, Mike was confident, a little arrogant, drove a fast car, and liked to be the center of attention. You know any Venturians like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
like how you said at the beginning that we, like, got out of there. Listen, Ventura has kind of like a pull on people. I mean, it took us a long time to get out. We stayed
it
through
did.
our 20s.
We
We
did.
left and came back.
True. So
True.
it does, but by the way, I think Ventura does do that to people also. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, I can actually live by the beach and maybe kind of afford it because
Yeah.
you wanna
Yeah.
go to Malibu or Santa Barbara."
It's all right in the middle.
It's in the
Yeah.
middle of that, and you can't afford to, like, do anything in Malibu. You're paying 10,000,000 to buy a house, you know? So,
Yeah.
anyhow, yes,
Yeah.
it does draw you back for sure.
Yeah.
And my uncle lives in Oxnard on the beach, and it's like he's always sending me these pictures. I think he's just making me a little jealous because I don't have a beach by me anymore, but
True.
it's pretty it's pretty nice. Okay, back to Michael. Michael and his outgoing personality and willingness to always have a good time. That's what really won Sherri over. When he was interested in her, her mother said she was just smitten. She could not believe the cool guy on campus wanted to date her. I actually think Sherri maybe lacked a little self esteem because she really was a disco biscuit. And from what her friends say, she was a real nice person. So, in my opinion, Mike was the lucky one,
Sounds about right.
right? So,
Mhm.
Mike and Sherri would marry not too long after high school and pop out a couple beautiful little boys. And Sherri loved being a mom. She was real good with kids, so good with children that she opened her own home daycare. And Mike, he worked at Vaughn's grocery store. You know Vaughn's? You got the Vaughns out there in the Orange County?
There's there is one Vons
Do you
left.
in
Yeah.
Orange County?
Well, there's one Vons in my bubble.
Yeah.
It's in San Juan Capistrano. I enjoy it because there's front parking. You can
Oh,
park right in front of the store.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Vons is the same brand as Pavilions, correct?
Yeah.
And out here, we don't have either of those, but it is the same as Tom Thumb.
Hmm.
I don't know why they like name different names, but anyways. So he worked at the grocery store so many years that became the store manager.
Oh.
And if you didn't know the couple from the outside, you probably would have thought they were your just average American family. Okay, as any average American mother, Sherri frequented Target. Like you and I, Gretchy. We love to
Eh,
frequent the Target.
who doesn't? I just did the Target drive up thing.
I love
It was
it.
so nice.
Oh my
It
God.
was so nice. I just needed a couple of things while my kids were at swim, and I just put it in the app, and by the time I was done, pulled up, boom, in my car.
Okay,
Love
so
it.
I used to do that all the time during COVID. And then here, it's like they deliver in 2 hours
To your house?
to my house. So I don't actually
Dang.
even go to Target that much anymore. I just get it delivered. It's pretty fantastic.
Wow.
So on this random May day, well, actually, guess what? It wasn't very random because it was May 6th, 1996.
Oh,
And that was my 16th birthday.
I was gonna say.
It was a big one for me. Got my driver's
Mhm.
license and everything that day.
On that day.
On that day, I
Oh,
did.
you were so ambitious back then.
I'm still ambitious. I just didn't have a lot of shit to do. I have lots
Yeah.
of ambition.
Yeah.
So while I was getting my driver's license, Sherri was going to Target and she headed there right after she dropped her 6 and 8-year-old boys off at school. She
Okay.
did some shopping and then she left. Well, around 2 something in the afternoon, Sherri was not at school to pick up her boys, and Michael was called to come get him. He knew right away that something was wrong. I mean, everybody knew something was wrong. It was totally out of Sherri's character to just disappear. Plus, she had those after school daycare kids that she watched, and she wasn't there for them.
Right.
So Michael calls the police to report Sherri missing, and he says, I called the local hospitals and her friends, and no one knows where she is. She's missing. But at that time, and I don't know if it's still like this. Like I have a feeling it's not, but they have that 72-hour missing person thing where they won't even
Give a shit for
yeah, give a
72
shit.
hours.
Right.
I feel like that's changed, but I do kind of remember something about that.
Yeah. So even though it was strange that this mother of two was not home with her kids, they had to wait. But once police started investigating Sherri's disappearance, they quickly started picking up some clues. Her mother knew right away that she was at Target, and so they found Sherri's big old van in the parking lot. Sherri drove one of those 9-person passenger vans, this like huge ones.
Yeah,
I'm assuming she drove that big of a car because she had those daycare kids.
totally.
Her van had all of her stuff in it, her wallet, her ID, bags with stuff that she just purchased from Target, which happened to be Mother's Day gifts for her mother because it was just a couple days away.
Thoughtful.
Very thoughtful. And the investigators in Ventura, I'm pretty proud of them. They started questioning Target shoppers and pulled footage from the store. And right away, they see Sherri was there at 9 o'clock in the morning shopping alone, and she's seen leaving the store. Then a couple shoppers actually came forward to say, yeah, indeed, I saw Sherri too, but I saw her in the parking lot that morning. And a lady cop arrested Sherri. She was blonde, wearing of like a tan suit, looked real official. Put some handcuffs on Sherry and put her in the back of a bluish Nissan Altima.
Well, that's an interesting car for a lady cop to be driving.
Well, that is exactly what the cops thought because, for one, cops in Ventura did not drive blue Nissan Altimas. I mean, cops don't generally drive blue cars at all.
No,
No.
no. Even if they have like a random car, it's usually like a Camaro or something that says like
Oh,
seized from a drug dealer or something like on the side. Otherwise, it's always
that's
like, you know,
uh,
a Ford,
it's like, yeah,
Crown Victoria. Now
that's
they all drive little Ford SUVs.
I think that they were like Crown Victorias at the time, like
Yeah, at the
white,
time it was probably a Crown Victoria.
yeah. So that was definitely, a red flag. The other red
Mhm.
flag was that cops come in pairs, especially on arrests. So,
Really? I didn't always?
I think always. I think always now, for sure, and even back
Legit.
then, they said that if they were gonna arrest somebody, you always have, like, backup. It's not not very smart to probably go on, like, a planned arrest and not have somebody there to help you out.
True.
So they look up any arrests for Sherry from any kind of law enforcement agency. And of course, there was not one. So why in the world was Sherry getting into an unmarked car with a fake lady cop? All of this was real concerning. And police in Ventura were not messing around with this case because, well, I'm sure they don't want to mess around with any case, but this one was pretty prominent. This
Hello,
missing
mother,
mother.
female
Yes,
impersonating a police officer. That's a
it's
situation.
a
It's
situation.
bad.
It's bad, and I remember everyone on super high alert during this, like and also she was my mom's age at the time, and my mom kinda knew of her, and people around our family knew people that were really close friends with her. So my mom said that, her boys actually played baseball at the same field my brother was playing baseball on at the same time, so she'd seen her around. So everyone, it seemed, was on high alert except for her husband.
Oh,
And
no. But he's the one that called the police.
he did call the police, and he did seem a little concerned, but he wasn't overly distraught.
Okay.
He, when they questioned him, which they do right away, and they told him, "Hey, Michael, this is, we start here. When a wife goes missing, we usually go, immediately to her closest person near her, and that would be you. So, you want to tell us
Okay.
anything?" And Mike says, "No, we pretty much have a normal marriage, but I do have a side chick." And
Oh,
so I don't really think a normal marriage comes with a side chick. Um,
not in my book.
Not in my book either, but in Michael's book it did. And it seemed like Michael's book had a side chick most of Michael's married life. Like I said, remember that cocky attitude that Michael had during high school?
Mhm.
He carried that with him throughout his 20s and 30s, and he had that same attitude with the police. Like nothing could really get him, you know?
Yeah.
So they find that Michael's demeanor is concerning. So, of course, they go straight to Michael's girl, side girl, and her name is Diana Hahn. Diana, small, younger woman than Michael, still in her 20s, also half Japanese like Michael, and she worked at Vaughn's.
I was just gonna say, you know what? I bet because he was like HDIC at the Vons
Yeah,
that he got the attention of the young ladies.
Yeah,
That
well,
happens.
it happens, and he did.
Okay.
So detectives show up unannounced to Diana's house, and Diana comes to the door in her lingerie. This bitch opens her door in a teddy. Could you would you ever?
Um, no.
Me
First of
either.
all, I'm not likely to put one on.
And you're
And if
sure as shit not opening the door with one on?
definitely not. Yeah.
Um, so immediately they're like, "Okay, Michael, we know you're in there. Come out, you douchebag." And of course, he comes out and they're like, "You're not worried about your wife, are you?"
Yeah.
So immediately when I read that part of the story, I'm like, who does that remind you of?
Scott Peterson.
It does. He's like Scott
Okay.
Peterson before Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson 1.0. I know you're gonna like say like
I'm not, 'cause I mean, I could. I totally could say that, at this point, I will just say, because I'm so sick of getting hate over my opinion about Scott Peterson. I think he needs a new trial, and then we'll just see
go
how
from
it
there.
goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we all agree that Scott was like more concerned with
A total
Amber than
douchebag,
yes.
asshole. He was more concerned about being found out for cheating on his wife than his wife being missing. Yeah,
Yeah. At least this guy, I guess, like came forward right away.
and
Um,
said he had a side chick.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
So turned out that Diana and Michael had actually been having an affair for a couple years, and Sherry knew all about it.
She did?
She did, yeah. Michael actually lived with Diana for 5 months until just a short time before her disappearance. Sherry hated the fact that her husband was cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater,
Yeah.
but she desperately loved Michael and wanted nothing more than to be his wife.
How old were her kids?
6 and 8.
Oh, okay.
So when Michael was living with the Dirty D, Sherry lost 50 pounds, started dressing real cute, wearing makeup, and tried to win Michael back.
Oh, Sherry.
So it actually seemed to be working because Michael moved back in with Sherry. He told her he wanted to be there so he could be with his kids, but actually, I think he couldn't afford his 2 lives, and Diana at the time went bankrupt and foreclosed on her condo. So, I think he moved back in with Sherry under desperation, but Sherry didn't care. She was
Mm,
like, as long as he was with her.
yeah.
But home life also for Sherry was pretty awful. Michael, to everyone else, was this fun loving party guy that made jokes and everybody wanted to be around him. But at home, he treated Sherry like a second class citizen. He really had little to no respect for her at all or her feelings. He would often call her fat, dismiss her, go out without her all the time. And like I said, he had multiple girlfriends. Not Diana was not the first.
Yeah, it's because she got together with him in high school.
I think so too.
There is just something about that, like, you have to, like, go through a couple. I mean, I certainly have. I know you have. Been in me more so than you, but been in some relationships where we got treated, like, pretty shitty, and it's just, like, every time you go through one of those relationships, you level up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until the playing field is, like, even, and then you're like, "Oh, yes, I
This is
will marry
nice.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how it's supposed to be. That let's make this one work."
That's right.
But I feel like you just don't know any. better, and there is something so intoxicating about that I mean, hello, look at
I
J-Lo, back with Ben, old
I kn
flames,
I
have
know.
this pull.
I know, and I think he had that pull on her, right?
Yeah,
And I also think she was always trying to it was like that chase. She was always trying to chase him because he was always running away from her. And instead of saying or having the, like, self-respect, she just kept trying to be better
yeah.
for him.
That can be addictive, that,
Yeah.
like, whole,
Yeah, and
always, like, having to work for it with someone, that
right.
when it's just normal, you're like, "Oh, this is monotonous and boring."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unhealthy.
Yes, it
Don't
is.
recommend.
So, to top off, Michael's dickness, or whatever
Mm.
you wanna call it, assholeness, he had a pillow on his bed, the bed that he shared with Sherry, with a picture of Diana's face on it.
Oh god.
So, I think that Sherry must have been so torn down.
Broken, and he is a real
Mhm.
dick. I mean, that's, like, some controlling behavior, like, "Let me show you how it is."
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause I would
s
burn that shit.
I would have, like, wanted to burn him. So, it's
Yeah,
stated that although there's no evidence of physical abuse, um, his psychological abuse was pretty damaging to Sherry.
bad, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But although Sherry was as torn down as she really hated to share her man with Diana. So in January of 1996, she got the guts to confront Diana and tell her to stop meddling in her life and leave Michael alone because, she has kids with him. And she's like, he's married, you little twit, but
Twat.
it's twat, twit, all of the above. Yeah. But it didn't work. Police also found that Michael's love triangle wasn't the only thing he was meddling with. Michael was not only seeing Diana, he was seeing a bunch of sex workers too.
Get the F out of here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Down on the avenue, probably. I don't know. Uh,
Thompson Boulevard is what they
oh,
like in
totally.
Ventura.
Yeah.
By the way, this Target, because there's 2 Targets in Ventura now, but there was only 1 back then. It's a good Target. In
Where's
that
the,
parking lot,
I didn't even know there's two.
there's one by the mall. It's, like, attached to the mall now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And then this Target, it has a huge parking lot.
It does have a huge parking lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does have a huge parking lot. That's probably why she was able to get abducted at like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Um, so besides the sex workers that he was paying for on the side, he also had a coke habit, which I
Wow.
think is probably why he couldn't afford having these two women,
Yeah, I don't think
and move
Vaughn's GMs make that much money.
uh, not for like sex workers and
Silks
coke
workers, coke
and
habits,
two
side
houses.
chicks,
Yeah,
and supporting a family? I don't think so.
no. So it seemed like he liked to pick up sex workers, snort some blow, have a rendezvous at night. I mean, this guy is a real freaking winner.
Mhm.
So even Diana's dreamboat was not so dreamy. Diana might have been good in bed, but guess what Diana was not good at?
What?
Being a
Blowjobs?
criminal.
Being a criminal. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know about that. Clearly not, because he had to have like more from other
Oh my
people.
god. Yeah.
But she was not a good criminal. With just a little digging, detectives found that Diana had recently purchased a wig from a local wig shop using a personal check.
Oh, shit. Back
Not,
in check time. Oh my
yeah,
god.
could you imagine? Not only did she purchase a wig, she purchased some handcuffs, a fake badge, like a official badge, but it was not official.
Oh my god, I bet
Um,
she went to Bonnie's.
oh, dude,
Remember
I was thinking
Bonnie's
that too.
downtown?
That okay, so
Yeah.
I like tried to look up if it was from Bonnie's because
We should do
she
a case about Bonnie's, you guys. So there was
oh,
this
that fire?
like costume store in downtown Ventura that the fire department tried to shut down like a million times. And every time, I might have a relative that worked for the fire department. So I might know this on pretty good authority. Hope that person doesn't mind. But every time the woman would like fake a heart attack or something.
Oh, yeah. I
And her
think
son was Dave Thompson, and they had these commercials. It's Dave Thompson, buy your diamonds in the Shorter Brown Tower. And they were like in cahoots together. And then the whole place did burn down.
it did, I know.
It did.
It did burn down. It looked like I think they wanted to close it down because it looked like a fire risk because, like, you could barely walk through the
Oh,
store. It
it was
had
a
so
definitely a
much
fire
shit.
risk. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like a hoarder's dream, that
But
store.
I'll bet if we did some digging, there's a crime in there.
Oh, I bet you. That is so funny.
Bonnie,
So
we're coming for you.
I did think that, she bought her costume at Bonnie's.
Yeah.
She also oh, and, let me tell you, when Diana's face was, like, known that Michael was dating Diana, the wig shop owner, who was a female, did call and say that, "I know that lady, she bought the wig here." So, it might have been Bonnie.
Busted. She didn't even go to like Oxnard. She like stayed in Ventura.
Well, so I don't know. I could check on that. I'm not positive, but she did live like Diana was from Oxnard. So, they
Oh,
worked at
you got
the
to go outside of your hood.
yeah, right.
Allure, pay cash.
Pay cash. You know where she also went?
Where?
She went to Kmart and she bought herself a tan pantsuit, a hatchet, some super glue, some
Oh,
real
shit.
big trash bags, some matches, and she paid with her personal checks.
Check.
Again.
Again.
Diana
Okay.
also rented a car in her name. Guess
Okay.
what it was?
Nissan Altima.
A blue Nissan Altima,
Yeah.
which she turned back in with lots of bloodstains.
Got to get that plastic sheeting like Dexter. Put it everywhere.
I told you,
Prep
Diana is not very good at being a criminal.
it. Okay.
And after a little analysis, they did see that it was Sherry's blood. So Diana is pretty dirty. Dirty Diana. No.
Okay.
Okay. But we all know it's really hard to convict somebody without a body
Body.
because Jerry could be still alive. I think everybody knew she wasn't, but there's always a little hope. In the weeks that everyone went looking for Sherry, oh, by the way, listen to this. My mom gave me a little insight. I guess everybody was meeting up at the Target parking lot because that's where she went missing. And
Mhm.
Target at first was like, "Oh, no, no, nobody's meeting up here. Get your little booties out of here." And the town went crazy on Target and was like, "We're never shopping here again if you act like that." And so Target changed their tune real quick and let everybody meet there. But I'm
Good
like,
call,
what?
Target.
Yeah, what the hell, Target?
We already
Um,
told you that parking lot is plenty big.
I'm pretty sure you can have like thousands of people meet up there
Mhm.
and still shop at your store.
Right.
So, while everybody's searching for Sherry, guess what Michael was doing?
What?
Getting rid of Sherry's stuff.
Of course, they always do that so soon.
So Scott Peterson, again,
Yeah, pack it up.
pack it up. He even called her best friend to see if she could come over and help get rid of her stuff.
Oh, he probably wanted to do her.
He also filed a separation agreement from Sherry. Um, and Sherry's best friend said she did go over there to the house and she saw a picture of Diana on Sherry's nightstand. I mean, puke.
Total puke.
So
Did he
I'll
even have a life insurance policy or anything
he
on her?
he did. It wasn't big. It was
Oh,
only $50,000, but I think
that'll
it was
buy you some
enough.
blow and some sex workers.
Yeah. So all hope was lost. 1 month after Sherry's disappearance, they found her body down a ravine just 12 miles from Target. It was
Oh,
on the way to Ojai. You know it
oh,
very well.
yeah.
Gretchen lived right by there. Sherry had been stabbed and mostly decapitated by what seemed to be a hatchet. So things are looking real bad for Diana Hahn. And Diana is arrested and charged for the murder of Sherri Dally. But you think Diana acted alone?
No.
Well, according to a woman that she worked with at the Vaughns, Diana wanted to sacrifice a human for her boyfriend because she was in some sort of witchcraft and satanic cult. Now,
Dude.
this was also brought up in her trial. And I have a hard time believing that that's true. Um, I know people think that it's true. Um, but I also don't think that witchcraft and Satanism are the same thing, and they're not.
Well, I
So,
feel like that would be pretty easy to prove. I mean, if she was like that diehard into witchcraft in the form of sacrifices and stuff, I mean, she would have like a whole bunch of, books and black shit,
yeah,
purple rocks, fucking
yeah.
potions. I don't know, whatever they do, like lying around. I don't think you're just like I just do a little bit. Like I just practice sacrificing on the side, and the rest of my house looks like it came out of the Magnolia section of Target.
Yeah. Um, I don't I do think that she talked about it a little bit. What Diana has said is that she was just like she's just a big jokester. I can't like Me personally, I don't think she had enough stuff to make me think she's, like, really sacrificing
Yeah.
for a person. I do think she's an evil person, but I don't think to me, I
Yeah,
just
she
I
was just a jelly belly.
yeah, I think she was a weirdo too.
Yeah.
Um, Police are definitely not convinced that this little soft-spoken woman acted alone, especially in the way that Michael was behaving. His lack of emotion, compassion, worry about his wife, was real noticeable. So, and, when Michael was questioned, about Diana by the media, once she was like, everybody knew it was her, he would say, "She's a beautiful and wonderful person." Like, he always was like very like supportive of her, always, even when he found out, which he knew, but even, when he found out that everybody knew that she killed Sherry. Um, and then when he
Yeah.
was questioned about Sherry, when she was still missing, there's a quote of him saying, "I wish they would just find Sherry so her family can go on. Her mother's a mess." That's what he says about his wife.
Yeah. The mother of
So
his children. Nice.
it's very clear that he could give two shits about her. And the more the police found out about him, the more they knew that Michael just might be the puppet master behind the whole scandal. So Michael had an old girlfriend named Sally. And Sally actually came forward to the police and said Michael had asked her to kill Sherry in the same exact way that Diana did it. She said he had
How'd you know?
a real way of manipulating people. And thankfully, Sally had a better head on her shoulders than Dirty D did. A couple sex workers also came forward to say that Michael had told them that he wanted Sherry dead. He didn't want a divorce. He just wanted her gone. And like you said, I think he wanted her life insurance policy. So both Michael and Dirty Diana Hahn were arrested and charged with the murder of Sherri Dally. They had plenty of evidence against Diana, but she still pled innocent
I
or
hate
not
that. Like, take a
guilty.
plea deal. Why are you gonna put us through the trial?
I know, she did. It was clear that she was the killer between her purchases, car, blood. Um, oh, and when they first questioned her about it, that day that they had like picked her up at her house in the lingerie, she had scratches on her forehead. She
Mm.
said that it was from a bike ride that she took on May 6th. She didn't really have an alibi. She said she went on a bike ride from Oxnard to Ventura, like Port Hueneme, Oxnard, by the way, which is like real
Far.
deep, to Ventura to lay out. And she didn't even mention the fall until one of her coworkers was like, she came home late, or she came to work late, and she got all these scratches on her. They were like, Diana, move your bangs. What are those scratches from? So her defense, she didn't have a very good defense. They tried to point out that Diana got an injury when she was a sophomore in high school, which actually, Diana went to high school with my mom.
Whoa.
And she was a sophomore when my mom was a senior. And this is when this injury happened. My mom actually knew about the injury, but she didn't know the girl that it happened to. The basketball backboard fell on Diana's head in this freak accident,
Oh my gosh.
and she was in a coma for a couple days. Um, so although this happened, she I don't think she had like traumatic brain injury from it.
Well, maybe she had that thing like the football players
I
get.
I know. So I kind of thought about that because I think that's what they were trying to
Oh my
say in
god.
her
So
defense.
Aaron Hernandez.
Okay, I
He
know.
started writing the Satan shit and that's not a defense. I mean, you don't get off for that. You get therapy. You don't get off for murder. But yeah, I mean
So
it's possible.
I wonder if she is a bizarre person doing bizarre things and said bizarre things. And I mean, it is possible that she, yeah, I don't know. I mean, she graduated high school, she had a job, she held down a job, but she did do something real weird that I don't know anybody that would do, um, by killing a person that she didn't want around. But really, it is no excuse. So in 1997, Diana Hahn was sentenced to life in prison without parole. As for Michael, they have little evidence that Michael had anything to do with it, except
Yeah,
for,
it's too damn bad because it wasn't like people had cell phones and like were like
I know.
texting and stuff then. Otherwise, they would have been stupid enough to put all this shit in writing.
Oh, 100%. She did call Michael a couple times on phone records that on May 6th.
No.
But
Okay.
I mean, that's all. They just see that she called him. As for Michael's trial, it started in 1998, and this is where my fascination for law came in. My high school was right across the street from the courtroom, and I was a senior in high school, so I got out a little early, was able to leave at lunchtime sometimes, and I went to the courthouse and I sat and watched his trial.
So weird. You were in the room with him.
I know.
Bananas.
I was pretty
Yeah.
fascinated, by the way, like
Yeah.
from this. I really should have known that I like maybe that is where I should have like taken my instead of I was like, I want to be a nutritionist and I want to like
Yeah.
do
So in
this and that.
1998, I wasn't living in Ventura. I was in San Diego.
Yeah, I know
I
you
was
weren't
out.
there. So you
So
weren't.
this is like all news to me. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about this case, but I wasn't like a close follower
Yeah.
when it happened.
I just remember I went a few times. I was really fascinated when I
Mhm.
was in the courtroom. I wanted to go like every day, but school ended and it was still going on. Um, like I think his sentencing wasn't until June something. I just remember I couldn't keep going. and clearly I couldn't keep going because I had school. Um, but I should have been like an attorney or detective.
or something.
Now, yeah, now I just sit on my closet floor talking about crimes.
Mhm.
But maybe it's why I'm doing this. I don't know. So Michael pled not guilty. And after Diana found out about Michael's attraction for paying for sex, she wasn't so happy either. She kind of changed her tune on him. She never testified against him, but she does think that he betrayed her. Michael was also found guilty of murder, even though they didn't have a lot on him. They had those sex workers come forward. They had the ex-girlfriend come forward and say that, um, he had
Yeah.
requested them to kill his wife. And I think just his demeanor, his behavior, the things that he did kind of prove that he was in on it.
Yeah, he wasn't surprised. Plenty of people corroborate that he's a master manipulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's enough for a guilty verdict.
And he also got life in prison without
That is surprising.
parole. I know. I do think that's surprising too.
Yeah. I'm glad, but, it's surprising.
Yeah. So in more recent years, Michael has requested clemency from our old California Governor, Jerry Brown.
Mhm.
It was denied. I kind of have this feeling that he could possibly appeal it. I'm sure he's tried, but I feel like if anybody could, maybe he could. Just because there's not evidence that he did it, besides, hearsay.
Well, there's not evidence that Scott Peterson did it either, but
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
we're
So,
still waiting. Yeah,
what happened to his two boys, you wonder?
I do.
Well, their paternal grandparents took them and cared for them.
So his family.
His family.
Damn it.
I know. They sued Diana for over $6 million, which they
Oh,
got.
I'm sure she had it.
Oh, she totally did not. She's
Yeah.
working in bonds. She does not have 6 million bucks.
Yeah.
Um, she did have, though, Gretchen, $1 million from that backboard incident that she
Oh,
got
shit.
from the school, which got her, it was paid on a monthly basis of about 1,000, 1,200 bucks a month
Yeah.
until she was the age of 61.
Yeah.
The money at the time was going for her legal fees to the state when the boys were granted that $6 million. So if, like, I don't know if they would have taken it away from the state and given it to the boys instead. I'm assuming at this point they probably get a little bit. She's 60 years old, so maybe there's about a year left of the money, the $1,000 a month.
Well, I mean, back then there are those like law firms who will buy your settlement. Like they'll take the payments and they'll give you one cash out.
Oh, yeah,
So
maybe
maybe
that.
they worked something out like that.
Yeah. They did not continue a relationship with their maternal grandmother.
That's so sad.
And I am assuming that this is because she believes that Michael is guilty and they don't.
Yeah.
Michael's parents did not think that Michael was guilty, and the boys also seem to think that their dad is innocent. By
Yeah.
the looks of it, they are all grown up and still living in Ventura County.
Mhm.
I couldn't find any recent pictures of Michael or Diana in jail. I looked them up. They both are obviously still in prison. Diana is in the Central California Women's Facility. This is the largest
In
women's.
Chowchilla?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
One of your ladies is in there that you did a case
I
on.
think I think I think several.
Probably several.
Yeah.
but I saw one on there. Um, it is the largest women's prison, and it also holds the women in California that are on death row. And Michael is in jail in Los Angeles, and it's the one that I went and toured at.
Oh my God. Okay. So when he was still being held in the Ventura County Jail, my
Mhm.
aunt was the nurse.
Oh, what did she say about
Yeah.
him?
I've just heard this one story about how they brought him in, and my aunt is kind of a badass, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
being like a prison nurse for like a million years.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, "So what are you in for?" You know?
Yeah.
All attitude, and he wouldn't answer her.
No way.
He wouldn't answer her, so then she turned and she said, "Deputy," because there's always a deputy in the room,
Yeah.
and they said, "Murder." And she said,
Oof.
"See, Michael? Murder. Wasn't that hard, was it?"
Oh my
That's
god.
that's all I mean, that's all I really
That's
got.
all you got?
Yeah, I mean, and I've known people who I don't know anyone personally, but I have known people who have known that family who say, yeah, they think he's innocent.
Oh, they think he's innocent.
Well, they just say the family thinks
Oh,
he's
yeah.
innocent and they're real mad about it
Yeah.
to a point where it's kind of creepy that they're so mad about it.
He
I
knew
mean,
about it.
yeah, he knew about it.
You
Hello.
you don't do those things
Yeah.
if you don't know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. What you should be mad about is that these two young kids are growing up without a mother.
Yes, and a father.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I mean, that's the saving grace of him getting life is that, like, maybe hope God help us that they turn out, normal, that they got out of being in a house with that kind of toxic relationship. It does a number on those little boys.
mhm,
So let's
right.
hope, even though I disagree with his family that he's innocent, that they did a great job uh,
Raising him.
raising these boys. Hopefully, his parents love each other, and so his children can imitate that in their future life and not repeat the horrible cycle of their father.
Agreed, agreed. So that is the case of, Sherri Dally.
Okay.
Um, when I was looking up I went down this rabbit hole when I was looking up, to see recent pictures of Michael. I was like, "How can I find recent pictures of him or Diana?" So I went on remember that site where, like, you could date an inmate or you can write
Yeah.
them? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I went on that again, trying to look for them. But you can't search their name. You have to look for, like, California and their age,
Yeah.
and, so I was doing that. So then I found a bunch of other people. Then I, like
That is
then
fascinating.
it's so fascinating because some people look so normal. Like, there's these women that look like they would be your school teacher, and you're
I
like,
know.
"What are they in prison for?"
I know.
Then I go down this rabbit hole where I look at their pictures that they post on their, Tinder site, which is not
Mhm.
Tinder, it's something else, but I'm just saying. And then I get in this then I go and I say, "You know what? I'm gonna look up their actual mugshot." So then I look up their mugshot, which looks nothing like their Tinder page.
Oh my God.
And I started doing this for like 2 hours
I know. It's
with
fascinating. I'm telling you, you really should watch
other
Love After
inmates.
Lockup.
I would like it. I'm pretty sure I would.
Oh my God. There's this guy on there right now. Okay. So there's a new couple. Okay. And this guy has been waiting for this girl to get out, I don't know, for like a year or something. So he had a sex toy. It looks like a torso. It's like about the size, it's about 2 feet.
Okay.
Okay. But it looks like a whole human torso.
Okay.
And he named it after the girl in prison. And then he met her mother and he's like, I've been faithful to your daughter. I bought this sex toy.
Oh my
And
god.
I named it after her. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, who does that? Who tells somebody's
Oh
parent?
my
Who
god, that
tells
is so
anyone?
that is
Anyone who goes on TV and talks about it. It's fascinating.
okay, so he had this, like, it was one of those, like, sleeves?
Yeah, it's like a sleeve. Uh-huh.
Oh, so gross.
And he keeps busting it out. On the last episode, the girl, she's not giving it up to him, right? She's like, "I'm not actually, even though you've been waiting for me and sending me money all this time in prison, I'm not giving it up until you buy me new boobs."
Oh, it's like
Uh-huh.
that.
It's like that. She's still working him. So he pulls out the toy in front of the cameras and is like, "I'm gonna need you guys to leave."
Is this real? Is this
I'm
real?
telling you, it's so bad. It's so
Oh
bad.
my god. I can't believe they make television like this.
Oh, and now he's on Instagram and he's getting recognized. And he writes like he's taking pictures with people, and he's like, you've made it when super fans and their children's, come up to you. I'm like, oh my God, some mother is watching this obscenity with her children.
I hope
That's
not.
crazy.
Come
And this
on.
guy thinks he's made it because people recognize him.
Well, you remember when you got recognized? You thought you made it too. Just
I did
kidding.
not think I made it.
I'm just kidding.
I still don't think I've made it. So I'm still going up the hill.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
true. It's a you know what they say, it's a marathon, Gretchen, it's a marathon.
Yeah. Like
And if
here.
you guys want our marathon to go even faster, give us a shout out. Tell your friends about us. If you think that they're cool enough to listen to us, then tell them about us.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Also, we're recording early, so I don't have any shout outs to give right now. We're trying to Gretchen has some vacation and I have some vacation. So we're trying to get a lot of stuff in so we don't miss any episodes. Isn't that nice? Is there anything else? You guys, if you want to listen to us more, go to patreon.com/housewives of true crime.
Please come
We're
to Patreon.
we're also going to be dropping our YouTubes every Wednesday, and we're going to get caught up to date. So you're going to see our beautiful mug faces with makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Every Wednesday on YouTube. You can follow us there at HWTC. I think if you also just probably type in Housewives of True Crime, you will find it. But our official page is HWTC. You will find it, Gretchen. You see it. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Clink, clink, guys.
Okay. Clink, clink.